What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. I am the Guitarist562 and I do video game guides and walkthroughs, and in today's video I am going to be talking about the tank, or how some call it the SNS, and great sword and shield and great sword. So a lot of people are wondering what class they want to build and what do they want to do for PVE or PvP. So this video is going to be only for PVE. Now the tank is probably one of the best classes you can use, because now with the new current buffs that will probably most likely come to NA, the tank has the ability to actually pull aggro for sure. It's not just a chance anymore. It's like you're for sure going to pull aggro. It's not a chance. I know it reads that it's still a 70% chance, but now it's like guaranteed. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and fly over to Castleton so I can show you a couple of stuff. I might sneak into a little bit of the Dominion event to show what it can do in PvP, but again, most of it's going to be PvE related. Now, you can look at the skills that I have on my bar, and you can either stack either mostly SNS skills or more greatsword skills. But the thing is, if you stack only SNS skills, you're not really going to be doing too much damage. And some people might say, oh well, if you use your aggro skills you'll do a lot of damage. And yes and no, but it really just depends on the kind of build that you're going for. So for SNS, this is kind of like the stat distribution you'd want to go for. Obviously you're going to want to have more strength. You want to get that heavy attack chance at 50. If you want to get 60, sure, you can get that extra HP as well. Personally, I don't want to get that bonus damage at 40, but most of it's going to be like strength and perception. So let's see what happens because of the buff duration right here. So let's go ahead and get that, and let's see wisdom. You're going to be short in wisdom. You can never go wrong with that extra wisdom right here with the max mana at 750. Just make sure you go ahead and you read those extra buffs. So I have 11 points left, which is not a lot. So I can go ahead and get 30 for that extra crit, or I could place it anywhere I want. I can go for 50 so I can get extra range. That's an option. But then after a certain point, look, you have to figure out what build you want to go for, because certain points are going to go and influence your overall build. And if you go with a full blue build, like for example, if I wanted more HP, I'd put this on, but look, I sacrifice stat points. If I put on these gloves, yes, I get more range and more health, and I'd be a tankier tank, but again, I'm going to miss out on stuff that I potentially need. So let me go ahead and just put the rest of it in strength. And this is what my HP is at right now. So my HP is at 21,000. Now, if I really wanted to, I could go ahead and put on these boots and these gloves. Watch, just to show you what happens. Obviously, my stat points are going to take a hit. But like, I put on those boots, I put on those gloves, and now like my health is at 23,000. But I also lost some stuff that I got. See how my perception changed and my strengths changed? But it doesn't matter because I got that extra HP, right? So let me go ahead and put that back on. Now, let's go over the skills. And I know this is kind of boring, but unfortunately, that's just how it goes. So with the sword, this is where I went. For PvP, it's a whole different, thing. So just completely ignore that. Because at the end of the day, you want to go for damage. So as you can see, provoke encounter, melee defense here, health regen. Let's see, weaken chance 75, max health 280, all evasion, impregnable shield block chance 8%, buff duration, that's probably why I want this tree, and damage reduction right here. And DR is extremely important. Now let's go look at the rest of the other trees. Let's see, hit, base damage, boss endurance, max HP, stun resistance, all out defense, boss damage reduction, which is really good for PvE, mana cost efficiency, melee hit, and bonus damage 49. That's actually pretty good. That's a whole 5%. Now let's see, max HP, melee hit, calculated chance, damage reduction, weaken chance, steel physique, base damage, melee defense, and cooldown speed. So you make the decision what you want to get. Now let's look at the greatsword weapon mastery. So we have melee hit, base damage, bonus damage +6, melee critical hit, mana cost efficiency, fierce attack with an attack speed of extra 5%, skill damage boost, which is extra right here, melee hit, and heavy attack chance at 100. Now this is for PvE, because I believe for PvP you want this because you get extra stun chance and an extra second on your stun, which is actually a big deal for PvP, because the longer they are stunned, the more chances you are to take them down. Stun chance 75, base damage, mana regen, complete stun, melee hit, stun chance, and now let's go look at charge. Range defense, melee evasion, firm will, max HP, cooldown speed, overcome snare, buff duration, and skill damage resistance, as long with movement speed increase. So those are just the weapon masteries. Now let's move on to the skills. Now, the skills say, let's see, this is the one that you currently want to have active for your block, because if you don't, you're going to be missing out on the on defending against a fury attack at epic. Creates a shield equal to 14% of max health for 3 seconds. So let's go ahead and read it. Defends against an attack. On defending against a fury attack with shield survival technique, 570 health regenerates, creates a shield equal to 14% of max health. So you get your HP back. Now, the skills as a tank that you're going to want to use it to provoke are your actual provoking roar, and believe it or not, your shield strike. Because let's go ahead and read that. It says deals 580% of base damage, weakens the target, and let's see, the target's aggression greatly increases. Now you want to use this along with counter barrier because they kind of work along with each other. So to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like, so let's go. You're gonna notice that I'm attacking pretty slow, and that's because I'm not using Da Vinci's Courage, I believe it's called. Let's see what it's called. Yeah. So here, this is the skill that you normally see a lot of tanks use when they're going crazy fast if they don't have the attack speed, because that influences how fast you go as a tank. As you can see, my attack speed is 20%. Let me go ahead and use Da Vinci's Courage. And now my attack speed's up at 35%. So now look. And that's why you see all those tanks that are online are attacking extremely fast. It's because of small stuff like that. It may not seem like much, but it influences your overall damage output. So hold on, let me go to systems, so not worry about what skill chat is saying. Now, let's go back to the skills all over again. This gives you, for party members within 15-meter range, max health increase by 800 and health regen 210 and attack speed of 15% for 12 seconds. So at max level, you get 960 and health regen 250. So getting this at epic is definitely recommended. And that's another question people are going to ask. What am I going to get what skills do I need to get at epic? You want your provoking roar, and honestly, the main skills, in my opinion, again, take it with a grain of salt, for dungeons, it's gonna be your Will Breaker right here. Will Breaker and Stalwart Bastion, which used to be called Fortress. The reason for that is because this deals 100% of base damage to all enemies within a 3-meter semicircle, but that's not the reason why. It's because it applies a weaken that it decreases magic, melee, and range defense by 400 for 6 seconds. Now that's just at epic. Now if you have it +5, it's 720, and if you kept up with the numbers that the game provides, that's about every 100 points is about 10%. So that's about 70% defense reduction on the enemy. Obviously that's not a flat across the board because they're soft caps, but that's still a huge amount of defense down that the enemy is going to be having to make your dungeons a lot easier. You apply that along with like a healer's time for punishment, you're going to do massive amount of damage in that time frame. Now for the skills that you have as your passives, I've been comfortable just using I don't really need this, but it definitely gives you an extra fat chunk of HP. But I usually just use like Vital Force and this one right here, which on dealing damage, skill restores health, and this effect does not apply to damage over time. So on skill hit health 9. So every time I hit something, I get my HP back, which is really good for being a tank. Just to kind of show you what this looks like, this whole overall build, let's go and PvP for a little bit, just for a second, using a PVE build. So let's see, shortcuts 7. I'm probably not gonna get any kills, honestly, because this is a PVE build and I need to, spec into stuff like, use the shock. That's to chase, that's to get aggro, this is to stun, and then these are like the damage dealers right here. Let's see. You know what? Let's not get sidetracked, actually. I don't want to do that because it's just going to be a distraction, because it's going to confuse you and it's going to give you too much information. And anybody that knows me knows that I don't want to give too much information at once, because it just means you won't understand what's happening. So let's see, Will Breaker. Where is Will Breaker? Right here. Let's put that back, and here's our main damage skills. All right, but that's pretty much all there is to be a tank. Is you want to have this skill at epic because let's see, magic melee and ranged heavy attack chance up 160 for 3 seconds on hit. So what that means is my heavy attack will go up by 160. Now let's see if that reflects on your heavy hit chance. Now I switched builds. Obviously my weapon's only +6, but look at my ranged 216. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that skill. And look, it went up. And now if with buff duration and all that, obviously it lasts a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and look at that skill. So for 3 seconds, that lasts. Obviously with like 40% buff duration, it'll probably go up to like 4 or 5 seconds, which is big. So this is what you use to charge with. You can use this one as well to collide. Both these are like collision skills. And again, if you follow what's going on, there's like melee skills, collision skills, bind skills, silent skills, sleep skills, and they are all in their own family, which is kind of good because it creates a sense of balance. That way, you can't fully defend against all classes. You can basically dominate one with the subclass, defense, but definitely can't defend against all three. And let's see, these are other skills that you can use for like mob farming. Like, you can have multiple skills to do like AoE damage, and that's why Devastating Tornado is really good. These two can hit multi-targets. So let's go ahead and go into like Silius so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Silius is right here. It's daytime, so it should be pretty chill. So we're going to go ahead and also do a dungeon so you guys can see how this actually applies in a real world scenario. So let me go ahead and queue, request matchmaking. I am the tank, so I like to do Cave of Destruction because it's the easiest one to like pop, and it's a super easy dungeon to do and carry in. It's a lot easier to carry as a crossbow dagger, but even as a tank you have your benefits. So if you saw my last video, I had like 14k HP, but like this build in itself just gives you free HP. So I can grab all of these mobs and change those different skills to do more damage. Let's see. I think this room is better. Let's not waste all my... Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, and I'm gonna put Devastating Tornado. Where is it at? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and aggro them. I messed up on the Devastating Tornado, but look at that. They're all dead. Pretty simple and clear cut, right? Now imagine doing that over and over and over again, and you can get a substantial amount of Solent, which is the in-game currency. So let me go ahead. And believe it or not, a lot of that damage came from... What's the skill called? Spectrum of Agony. On hitting a provoked target to the target's remaining provoked duration, deals damage equal to 60% of base damage plus 29, etc., etc. So let's go ahead, provoke everything, and then Devastating Tornado. I might have got heavy hit right there, so let's see. I'm pretty sure that's devastating. I'll put this over here just in case, because you can't press the button again once you press that button. See? This is how it's supposed to look. It's kind of like you're dancing. And just those two skills, I pretty much did most of the damage that I needed to. And now, what is colliding in this game? Colliding is when you hit it against the wall. So... And look, now they're stunned. But if I had collided that same object, it wouldn't do the same effect if it didn't hit a wall. That's just how it works. So watch, I'm gonna wait for this to come back so you can see what I'm talking about. And boom. See? Completely unstunned. But there's certain things like you stack, like with your skills, that allow you to do a lot of cool combo chains and benefit from sub effects. You know, like for example, let's read some of these passives. It says magic melee and ranged hit, skill damage boost 35.35 stun chance per 100 current health. So you get stronger from this. Now let's see this one. Adjust against shocked stun targets, magic melee and ranged heavy attack chance increased by 240. So let's go ahead and stun something. This is skill damage boost with multiple enemies. So let's go ahead and stun something. And then let me put this skill on as well. Hopefully I don't trust that one. I might kill him. So let's look at my heavy attack chance. So 216. Still 216, so it's one of those hidden things that you don't see. So just because it says it and it doesn't reflect on it doesn't mean it's not happening. It's still happening, you just can't see it. So it says against shocked or stunned targets, magic melee and ranged heavy attack is 240. So whatever I had, which is what I have right now, 200 plus 240, which is 440 or whatever. I'm just doing quick maths. And that's what makes it really useful for PvE and PvP, because as a melee class, since you're not really using a lot of dexterity or, you know, wisdom, you really want to benefit from using your other skills. So let's go ahead and look at the rest. If there are 3 or more enemies with a 5-meter radius, skill damage boost 70, which is good for siege or a large scale combat. Has a 25% chance to increase magic, melee, and range defense by 232 for 2 seconds on being hit. Stacks up to 3 times. Now, what does that mean? When every time you get hit, you get like a... Let's go ahead and show that, because I don't like talking about things. I want you guys to see it for yourself. So let's put that in. So like, boom, I just got hit. Magic, melee, and range defense, and I keep getting hit, so it keeps coming in and out. This is how you kind of pay attention to what's actually happening to your character. If you don't pay attention to this stuff, then how would you ever know? See, look, it's right here. It keeps disappearing, but it's definitely there. So let me get hit by multiple enemies now. It's already stacked 3 times, and now it's stacked 3 times. So that's how that works. And with that, it gives you those little nice benefits, which is really good against in PvE and PvP if there's multiple mobs and stuff like that. On using a mobility skill, movement speed increases by 22% for 33 seconds. So let's go ahead and use that. What is a mobility skill? This is how I normally run. And now this is how I run now. What's another mobility skill? Precision dash. Let's go ahead and use that. Oh, gotta accept. Alright, so I am in a random cave. Let's see how I could benefit these guys. So I'm gonna keep this. Let's see, is this Will Breaker? No, we need Will Breaker. Hold on. Let's get rid of that one. Alright. Kind of show you how it applies. So right here we have a longbow dagger, wand, staff, crossbow dagger, and a greatsword dagger. Now, again, when I did this to not do damage, I would only use this skill and that, and then I mostly use, let's remove all of these. I mostly used all Crusader skills. I'm sorry, melee skills. I don't really need that. And this is how I had it. That's how I had it. Obviously, if you want to do more damage, you got to get rid of some of this stuff. So I don't really think I need this one, because this is colliding with a target will apply cooldowns, which is good for your other skills. But you want more damage, obviously. So that's why you got this. And then you want this, because for the heavy attack chance. Because even though shocked means for mobs, they're going to get shocked. But obviously... I'm sorry, stunned, and bosses are not going to get, stunned, so they're going to be shocked. That's what that stands for. So let's see which one I want to get rid of. Let's see. I'm trying to find which one. Let's see. All right, we can get rid of this one. All right, so it looks like this group is pretty juiced. So like, even though he's over here, I'm gonna go in and fix that. So now the mob queen, I'm sorry, the princess queen is looking at me. Even though I came in all late because of the skills. Now you might be thinking to yourself, oh well, then what do I do, or what do I build my tank with? Well, since I'm using the same exact build, this is an endgame build. I wouldn't worry about this just yet. I'll go for a different video and not as comprehensive as a crossbow dagger. But you want to use a Karnak's Nether Sword as a free-to-play player. Obviously, if you can get the Cornelius or the Chernobog, then go for it. But it's just going to be easier to trade this one up with, you know, max HP. And I have the Magnaduke's Taunting Blade, but now that with the new update, you don't struggle getting aggro, because this, every time I use Valiant Brawl, it gives me a chance to pull aggro. The actual sword you're going to want to use is the Adentis Greatsword. In the meantime, let's see, which is right here, the Adentis Barbaric Blade, because it gives you base damage 3.3%. No, 3.3 per 1,000 of current health. So if I have 20,000 health, so you do the math. Now, obviously, there's Tevin's Despair Blade and all these cool ones, but if you can't get the Dentist Blade, you're going to want to get the Magnaduke's Blade, which is this one right here. It does the most damage, way more than the Taunting Blade. And most people would say don't even use the Taunting Blade. Most tanks, if you're going to like really be a tank, don't use the Taunting Blade. This, I use it because before the update, it was just helpful for me to maintain aggro on my cookie cutter, just makeshift tank that people needed. I would always swap to multiple different classes. But like, look, I'm gonna take a little bit more damage from the next boss, and you can see, I don't know if you noticed that right there, but I actually got my health back from blocking that heavy hit. And now again, I'm gonna dumb it down one more time. What is a heavy hit? It's that purple ring that you see coming in. Now there's different types of heavy hits. There's a rolling block and a stationary block. But if it's like a circle, it's a stationary block. If it's like a, you know, a diamond, I would say, usually it's like a rolling block. Rolling block is like this, and this is stationary block. All right, so now we wait. One guy's gonna have to break that egg in the back, and most of these guys, including myself, seem to be pretty lazy, so we're gonna have to wait. But just to show you what it's like to be like a tank. And remember, mind you, this is what I'm using. I'm using what I use for crossbow dagger on my tank, so don't do this. This is just to show you what you can do as a tank. I'll go over a build later, or you could just join my Discord and you can see it there. Alright, so just like that, boss is on me. I'm gonna use this one, Will Breaker, for the defense down. Look at my health. Boom. It's plus 631 health right there. Block again, another plus 631 health. I just wish for this ult I had level 5 Will Breaker, because it would just make this fight way better. And again, you want to be making sure that the boss is always provoked, because that way you can do the most amount of damage that you possibly can. The boss is probably gonna die here. Hold on, let me turn my Guardian. Why didn't I do that? Block. Boss is pretty much dead right here. I forgot to put on my stun skill, so you're not seeing that extra heavy. That sucks. That was the whole point of doing this, but don't worry, we'll do another secret dungeon after this. I don't need this box, so I'm not gonna eat it. I'm negative, so. And just like that, I maintain aggro on the boss the entire time. So let's go ahead and do another secret dungeon so you can see what you can do. I don't think I'm going to plan on killing this thing right here, because I just want to show you guys how everything kind of stacks. So I need to put a shock skill. So let's go ahead. Actually, whoops, I almost forgot. I need this as well because it gives heavy. So let's go do. All right. You see all those times two? That's what that really stands for. Now, obviously, you'd want to optimize fighting this guy and have more damage skills. So you have to kill him twice. I'm pretty sure you guys remember that. Normally you're supposed to have a guardian, but we can go ahead and do this. Like, this does absolutely no damage to me whatsoever. It's basically tickling me. Now that stuff probably will do a lot more. Right back up. And that's another tip right there. I don't know if you saw that, but as this fight drags on, I am losing the mana that I have. So that's how hard it can be, even with a semi-geared. Is 1 minute and 32 seconds to clear a secret dungeon, and you kind of again need these tools to get these items. Rank rewards, top 5 placement, you get that. Achievement rewards, beat it in under, you know, a minute 30 seconds, you get all of this. Take, you know, a minute 30, you get just this. Take it 3 minutes, you only get, I think, this right here. It's not bad, but it's a pain to just kind of grind it out. Now let's go over potential, you know, builds that people normally go with. So usually, especially like early game, early to mid game, people are gonna obviously rock this Miracle of Mother Nature. They're gonna rock the Black Line Gators, which is right here. They're also gonna rock most likely the General Boots and the General Gloves, the General Frenzy Gloves. I think I have a pair. Let's see, Black Line Dash, General Charger's Boots. There you go. And I think I sold my General Gloves. But the reason why you'd want to rock that is because the General Gloves give you the 2-piece of heavy attack, a chance 150. And look at this, it gives you strength. So far, let's go ahead and look at my build so far. I got the Titan's Bloodlust Belt, Abyss Conqueror's Necklace, can't change that. Then don't change that. Have this. And obviously you can change that for the Transcendent Ring. But look, I got the DR right here. This cloak, you want to have the Commander's Grandeur for the damage reduction. This would be something else. You could use the General Frenzy helmet, or you can use something else. Like, again, it depends on which build you want to do with the General Gloves. Usually it's the General Gloves right here, and I forget what piece they use here. But as opposed to this, if you're not doing damage, if you're doing PvP, you're going to use a special resistance chest piece because of the melee evasion. So look at the way my stats changed now. So you have to refix everything to be a proper tank. But that's just kind of like a little opener of what's going on with what is a tank, what skill should I be using, and how you should be prepared for the game when it comes out in North America. But hopefully you enjoyed that video. If you have any more questions, or if you want to see more of what these other skills do, feel free. But like, these are like your main damage skills. Like Death Blow, Guillotine Blade is like an omnipotent skill. Gaia Crash, once you get the tier 2 weapon, does a massive amount of damage. But most of these are just aggro pullers, and you could probably just, there's multiple things you can do. Like the SNS Wand is really good, SNS Dagger. I personally feel like SNS Wand is really, really good because you could be healer and hold tank. So that means you could have save a spot for 5 different DPS. And you're also really good for PvP because you're keeping people on you, and you're just like a massive tank because you're giving yourself an astronomical amount of defense buff with a blessed barrier. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna do another video. It's gonna be wand staff or or longbow staff. But just let me know if what you guys want to see. And again, I'm gonna be preparing. Maybe I might be quitting Korea soon. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. There's not much to do left in Korea because there's just no content anymore. They haven't even opened up the map. But if you enjoyed that video, leave a question for the next video, or just let me know which kind of build you want to see for the future. But as always, guys, stay blessed.